how's it going, everyone? Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. How's it going, Amy?
It's doing great. It's about to actually storm over here. We had a hailstorm yesterday. It was crazy.
We've actually been storming here all day, so I would not be too. It was the lightning was crazy. It
Bad.
was so loud, and I was like, "Damn, are we gonna be listening to that the whole time? Like that's gonna be freaking crazy, right?" So that will be fun. But that's where you kind of go, okay, see you next week, whatever.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, if that's what we need to do. So how is your week? I know we're in this retrograde right now, and Ambika was talking about it last week,
hmm
and it's a little challenging. So have you had any challenges that have
Yes.
been challenging?
Yeah. And it's funny because I was talking about this with some of my viewers on TikTok as well. I was like, I just either I felt drained and I felt or emotional,
Hmm.
or I was just in this weird funk. Like I just didn't feel like doing, like I just didn't want to deal or do nothing. It was just weird. Even when I was in my live, I felt off. And then my friend that I told you about who sells crystals, she went live the same day I did. And she was like, I don't know what it is. Maybe the retrograde. I don't know. But she's like, it doesn't feel right. She's like, I feel like getting off. I don't want to be live right now.
Yeah, like there does seem to be like a lot of, cuckoo energy to be honest. Like it just feels like people are in, I don't know how to describe it really. It's similar to, what you were just saying, but I feel like people are in a fight mode or something like that, or defensive, that kind of energy, right? And it is a little bit awkward, to be honest. Like I got into a I'm one of those people that I'm going to leave you alone for the most part, if you don't screw me over. Right? And if you're just a decent person. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and so my neighbor, it's a brand new next door neighbor. They have what the hell he's got. I don't want to sound gossipy, but I mean it's just I don't know how many baby mamas he has, but they all show up at the house, like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Mhm.
I know there's at least 2 under 3, and then the new girlfriend is pregnant, but there's different baby moms for all of them. Like, I'm
Oh my
just like,
gosh.
whatever. But they all have to park in front of my house. And the thing is that yes, it's public property. We realize that we're not retarded. We're not stupid. I don't mean that retarded where I shouldn't have said that, but you know what I'm like seriously, some of these people are they keep telling me, "Oh, well, it's public property." It's like I realize that, but I've also been here for 20 years, and all of the neighbors that are on this block have all been here for that long too.
Right.
Like we've all been here a long time. And so when you park in my stall, or somebody parks in my stall, if I have to park behind you, somebody's parking behind them, and somebody's like, it basically it's disturbing the entire block that has been here for a long time, right? So so they did this the other day, and my son actually went up to them, and they were in the backyard, and my son actually went up to them, and he's like, excuse me, could you go move your car, please?
Mhm.
And they were like, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, because quite honestly, my mom's lived here for a long time. And, it it honestly is a hassle to have to park in the back or to park somewhere else. And really, it's just out of respect." And he's like, "Well, it's public property." Yes, it is. You're right. Yes, absolutely. However, just being a decent person and out of consideration, most people would know that this is upsetting because you've had conversations with my mom about it in the past. So just out of respect for people in general, you would think
Right.
you would move it. And this was my son saying this, right? I was like, yes. Anyway, he did. He went and moved it. But then they started a screaming match, and I was just like, wow, okay. I'm just out of here. I can't. I said, you know what? Just be respectful. But I find that there's a lot of people right now that this is happening with. I'm talking to friends and they're like, yeah, I was at the store. And I was like, you know what we have to do? I don't know exactly when this retrograde ends. I probably should know, but I'm going to tell you something. Bubble yourself, just remember that they're probably going through something as well as you are, and just keep going forward. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that might be the best way to really counteract an awful lot of this stuff, because it's quite, it's in that place. like, you know, I think if we're looking for trouble, we'll definitely find it. If we're not looking, it might just find us anyway, kind of energy. So
Yeah.
it's not going to last forever. Probably the best way to deal with it. Anybody wanting a reading tonight? So we have changed the format a little bit. If you want a quick message, we are doing the $10. If you want a longer message, it is going to be $20. And then you'll get at least a good 5 minute, maybe even more reading. So depending on, what we're picking up. Um, but yeah, and if you do want a private reading with Nami, you can contact her at Mimi for you on TikTok underscore for you on TikTok, exactly like it's written on the screen. For me, you can contact me at oracleintuitions.com. But yeah, the other thing is the masculine and feminine energy. I think that, it's funny because right now, politically, the world's a disaster. But a lot of women are, because we feel that we do have to stand up for our rights right now, because there are men that are really trying to take them away, or take away the things that we've worked for as women. And maybe not everybody is going to agree with me on this, and I don't care. Quite honestly, that's my stance on it. But we don't need to be harsh. And I find that a lot of times, like when we're trying to defend ourselves, we feel like we need to be harsh, or we feel that we need to kind of take over the role of a more masculine energy. And that's really not the case. And in fact, if anything, it's okay to really, right now, people are being taught that it's not okay to be feminine, you know, right? Like you have to be kind of masculine, but that masculines are toxic. Like our sons, our fathers, our husbands, our boyfriends, whatever, that it's this, everybody goes on about this toxic energy. Being a masculine is not toxic. Masculinity is strong. It's being strong, it's standing up for your rights, it's being the provider, it's being a protector, it's being, but it's also has that gentle side, right? And that's the perfect yin yang balance. And a lot of people don't quite embrace all of this. They tend to think I have to be this. If I'm too masculine, people are going to be like this. But what we have to do is really embrace that yin yang. Does that make sense? Have you experienced a lot of this? Have you been seeing this?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad that on several platforms, some people complain like, there's men judging women, and why? Like, why do you feel the need to have to judge a woman? Or because if the woman's natural, or if she had surgery, or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be, it's like, why? I mean, if it's like a man against a man and they feel some type of way, okay, maybe. But I'm like, man against a woman, like, really? And then there's some women that want to judge men for how they are, because either, oh, they're too masculine, or oh, they're too wimpy, or and it's like, some of them are like, make up your mind. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
want someone to be passionate, and I want somebody to be clingy, but they're masculine. But then if they're too clingy, then it's a problem. And it's like, They can't make up their mind.
The thing
You
is,
know,
it sounds
and
like a lot of people don't know what it is that they really just bloody well want,
yeah,
to be honest, right?
yeah,
Like,
it's
and
crazy.
it,
So go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead.
no, absolutely. I feel that too. I feel like, I don't know, just lately, like you're really noticing, I mean, okay, so then you have these people, particular men that are pretending to be women that are, prancing around in fields pretending to be little girls that are saying, well, okay, I'm a woman. I'm on day. Well, honey, I'm on day, I don't know, 5,000 something being a woman. And I can tell you, I've never pranced in the fucking forest in my high heels and a mini skirt.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And in fact, that's an insult. That's an insult to me as a woman. And but that's where it's almost, but yet here's the funny part is that there's people out there that are, here's, I'm kind of a tradition. I I don't know. I think I feel like I'm traditional, to some degree. You know what I mean? I believe that women should be able to work, obviously, or have a job, support yourself, all of that. I don't find anything wrong with taking care of the house, making sure that your man or woman or whatever it is, like whoever, there's a duality that's going on. If somebody's taking out the garbage and taking care of the yard work, I can take care of the inside. You want to reverse that? I'm good with that too. Somebody does the meal. What is it really that hard to do the dishes on top of it? You know what
Right.
I mean? Like like there's a duality that needs to happen, right? And right now there's a lot of people out there that are really getting upset at the fact that women want to be feminine, that they want to embrace traditional roles, but yet they support this man who claims he's on day whatever of womanhood and is prancing around in high heels in a forest. So that makes, like, literally behaving in the extent of what it is that, I guess to some degree how the feminine used to be portrayed in the 50s. You know what I mean, or the 60s or something like
Yeah.
that. So right now things are just a mess. And that's okay. We're just going to hang on tight and get through the next little while.
Yeah. Yes.
And,
There's a lot of changes going on, and it's just hard to accept, and it's hard to see,
some things
because
I
it's
don't think
not.
we need to accept. Like some things I don't feel that we need to accept. Does that make sense? Like
No, yeah, of
like
course.
like this
That's what I'm
forest
saying. Like, it's
nonsense
hard
or
for
yeah,
a lot of us
yeah. I
to
won't accept
accept.
that, but at the same time, you're right. Like there is a lot of things that, um we do need to, I guess, take a look at, or it's really buggering up. Like I don't know. I guess I feel like I'm very, I was raised in a different sense, and I feel like a lot of us 30 above, or
Mhm.
whatever, we're really kind of raised in a more traditional sense of
Yeah.
house and home. And I mean, we all had our own issues, whatever they were, right? But at the same time, we grew up with, for the most part, many of us grew up with values or grew up with a sense of direction, or this is right and this is wrong, and we tend to be losing that a lot in society right now. And it makes me sad. It makes me really sad
But
to
I
see
feel like now they don't give an option for young ones to choose a certain path, because
right.
everything is being forced and full blown all over, I don't know, television, let's say.
Hmm.
Um like, you can't watch new cartoons now or new shows without
This
someone.
agenda being pushed in their faces.
Yeah, and it makes it, and I don't have nothing against
Mhm.
it. I have homosexuals in my family, and we love them dearly. They're our family. We accept them the way they are. But there's certain things that just shouldn't have to be advertised. I feel like it's advertised
Yeah. And
so
being pushed
much.
in. And the thing is that I've, one of the arguments that, I don't know if you've received this or not, but maybe I'm more vocal about it because I am really against all of it. And you're right. Like, even there's a channel here in Canada, that's completely government funded, right? The CBC.
Hmm.
And right now, you can't, there's one show that I really like watching on this channel, right? And it's Murdoch Mysteries, and it's just one of my favorite shows. I just love it. I've been watching it forever. But I also record it or I watch it on, I stream it simply because like you cannot watch the commercials without it being something shoved in your face, and it's constant, constant, constant.
Yeah.
Like it's like beating over the head with a hammer, and
Yeah.
you're like, what in the hell is going on here? Like,
Yeah.
it's okay to be straight. If you're straight, it's okay. If you're gay, it's okay. That's fine. Nobody cares, but it's this boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
constant. And I feel sorry for little kids right now. Like if I was a parent of little ones right now, I don't know. I'd probably be looking for old Scooby-Doo or Bugs Bunny, because at least there wasn't an agenda, you know. Scooby-Doo never had an agenda. you know,
No.
nobody cared, right? But the new Scooby-Doo, now apparently Velma is gay, or this or that. Like these are things that were never brought up as we were growing up. These weren't.
Hmm.
We, did anyone sit there and go, I wonder if Shaggy was gay? Nobody. Like, who cared? You're a kid.
Yeah.
This is a kid. This is not a kid thing. It is. You got two moms, you got two dads, you got, I don't know, whatever. Who cares? Nobody cares. But this pushing, 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 pushing of this agenda is
Hmm.
is becoming over the top. And then this is where I was going with that, is one of the things that I've had people say to me, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this as well, but one of the things that people have come out said to me, oh, how can you be spiritual and think like this? Oh, okay, well, what is not spiritual about it? Because spirituality is not accepting the new norm, like, or spirituality is not following the fad.
Yeah.
That's not a spirituality. Spirituality is not going, oh, everybody thinks that color over there is blue, so even though I see fucking red, I have to call it blue because of the fact that that's spirituality and I have to go with it. Like, this is not it.
Hmm.
And it's crazy, like how so many people are, so then they try to bash you in order to get you onto their agenda. They try to bash your spirituality, your religion, your morals, the way you know what I mean. And I think my point towards this, for who's ever watching, if you're watching the replay, you don't need to. Stick with your morals, and we've talked about this so many times. Know your core self. Know your
Hmm.
core self, because when you know your core self, you're not going to get bamboozled by some of this nonsense. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Saying hi, Mimi. But yeah, like when you know your core self, none of this is going to um sway you. I guess you can still get upset about it or whatever. You can be an advocate against, like, against it, that kind of thing.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you're not suddenly waking up going, oh, this is okay. No, it's not okay. If you feel that it's not okay, this is not okay. And a lot of people do not follow their core self. They don't follow who they truly are. And I think that that's really sad. And that's where we need to, originally, when Brandon and I started the show, that was kind of one of the things that we were really doing, is, getting right into the in depth of that, like, follow who you are.
Right. And not a trend. There's always this trend and this trend. Why a trend? No, just do you.
Yeah,
Do what you're
absolutely.
doing.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
if, if this is your thing, but the thing is, your thing should not impede on my thing. You know what I mean? If
Mhm.
you're trying to force or provoke a reaction because this is your thing, let me just give you an example. For instance, this whole fuzzy thing or furry thing or whatever, kids pretending they're dogs or cats or whatever the hell. You want to pretend you're a cat in my house? That ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? That's not gonna happen. There's not gonna be a litter box for you.
Yeah.
You meow once in my house, I'm kicking you out because why? It's my house. You know? I'm not gonna call you, fuzzy fur balls or anything else. I'm gonna call you by your oh, are you there?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Everything just like
Turned
shut
off.
down on me. Yeah. So bizarre. But anyway, I was like, "Oh my god, what just happened?" It was crazy. But yeah, so that's where I am on that. That's where I am on that. Like, and if somebody says, "Well, that's my right to do so," you're absolutely right. You do have that right to call yourself whatever. But I don't need to hire you because I don't want something pretending it's a cat working for me, and I don't want you in my house. There has to be those limits.
Mhm.
So I don't know. That's just my thing for today. Do you have anything to add to that?
I'm looking in the comments and I'm like, I'm waiting to see, if someone said anything. And I'm like, everybody's quiet. It's
Yeah,
a tough topic to get, like, it's a sensitive topic to get into.
it
Um,
is. Yeah.
and
And
that's another thing. I don't want to feel like I have to be, you know, walking on how
eggshells.
can I say, like, on eggshells. I hate
Mhm.
that. I hate that we can't say certain things. Oh, but you can't say that. You can't say that word, because it's gonna offend someone. Or that's like, who cares? Back then we used to say it all the time and it wasn't a big deal. Now it's a
Yeah.
big deal. Now you
Yeah.
have to be careful with everything. And it's like, I don't like that. And it's like we have to feel like we're in this bubble, like you have to worry about what they're going to think, what they're going to say, and
Yeah.
everything as a whole. It's ridiculous.
I
So
think that's probably why I just don't. You know what I mean? There 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 are limits. That I mean, I hold myself back
yeah.
surprisingly enough, to a degree. But I'm tired. You get tired of it. You get tired of the nonsense. You get tired of the, oh, I'm so offended. Well, you know what? Go be offended somewhere else. Like, you know, go be offended down the street. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
But this is my space, and you go be offended where you want to be offended. I'm
Yeah.
perfectly okay with that. You go be offended where you want to. It's has nothing to do with me. But um I know that we are going to be doing at least one reading. It is pretty quiet tonight. So I'm thinking we'll probably just do Miguel's, and then maybe we'll see what happens for next week.
Okay, sounds good.
At least Miguel gets a nice long reading. So
Yeah, nobody's waiting, so it's just him.
I'm using a different kind of deck today too. I wanted to try it,
Ooh.
and yeah, well, it's one I've had for a while, but I don't use it very often. I do have to read from the book because it's very I don't know what you call it. Like, I mean, it's ambiguous. Like, you can't really, you know what I mean? Unless you sat there with all of the cards all day long, you
Yeah.
probably would know what it was about. But it's called The Dark Mirror. So it really does get pretty intense at some of the things that it talks about. So
Mhm.
I'm actually going to pull a few cards from that as well because
And
I'm kind
show
of
them.
excited.
I want to see them too. This has been my true for the last 3 years, and I just feel like I need another deck. And I just been like it's been hard deciding or figuring out which one's for me, you know?
It is. It's,
So,
it's, I mean, I buy the weirdest decks sometimes. This one's called the Dark Mirror, so it looks like this. You can even
mm,
see that it's quite dark looking. Um, and it's not a gentle deck. It is definitely not fluffy bunnies. I can tell you that, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's really weird because I was actually talking about this with one of my daughters. We were talking about, tarot decks and stuff like that because, she likes collecting them too. I am a person deck, like I don't know how to describe that, but I love my tarot decks with pictures. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
have to have the face on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I really like the tarot that has like the lovers, or like when you look at the lovers, you can see what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And there are some decks that are more abstract, I guess, which is really funny because I love abstract art. But yet I don't like abstract tarot, right? So my tarot has to be, it has to have faces. Even a lot of the oracle decks that I get, because this would be more considered an oracle than anything else. It's just it's just more of a, I don't know. I don't even know if I would call it oracle. It's almost like a truth deck. Jeez, I don't know. It can hit you hard though. But even my oracle decks, I like with the faces or people. That
Yes.
I do like that. I do find it not easier to read. I can read pretty much any tarot, and most of it's read intuitively. It's just for my own pleasure, I think, than it
Yeah.
is for the people. Like I just like that. So. And my daughter's more of an abstract, kind of person. So she likes the abstract tarot, and I'm like, oh, you know, I wanted to give her a deck one day because sometimes it's nice just to gift a deck, to
Yeah.
somebody. But I was like, yeah, I'm not giving you any of these because I know you would never use them because they all have faces, and I'm not gonna. I'll buy one for you and use it, and then I can gift it to you or something like that. But yeah, so what do you have for Miguel? He is asking, he wants a general reading for his finances. Also, do my guides have anything to tell me?
Okay, so when it comes to I don't know why, but I can't clear my throat. Okay. So when it comes to Miguel, I just feel like with Miguel, um try not to be your own blockage, and get into this mindset that something terrible is going to happen, because every time you think that way, you're kind of like calling it, and you don't want to call that type of energy. So whenever there's like an upcoming, for example, today he had that lunch coming up with the boss, and he was just so worried that something bad was going to happen. So not put yourself in that state of mind that something negative is going to take place. Always stay within that positive mindset. I still feel like you have to ground yourself more, and still reach out to them, talk to your spirit guides, talk to your angels, and when you need guidance or you need answers, to reach out to them, talk to them. They are sending you messages, and sometimes you're missing some of them, or you're interpreting the message in a different way. um I'm also getting balancing. You need some balance in your life, and it's not like balancing like, oh, like you're all over the place. More like focus on the good things you have now, focus on the new changes, this new job, and not put yourself into this place of, I still have to do this. I still have to do that. I have to do all these things, and just relax and just focus more on what you have going on right now. So having this new job is great. Things are going well. Um, Things are moving forward. Things at home as well are becoming a little better. And like I said, that retrograde recently, um, has kind of, put a little funk into the house, but I mean, it's been a lot better, so it's awesome. I'm also getting letting go. I'm still getting letting go for you, and I get letting go very often. I can't make that up. It's always coming out. So, it's however it resonates with you, letting go of, could be just past traumas, letting go of people that you might have already distanced yourself from, not focusing on too much what's going on with them or what they're doing or what they're thinking, letting go of anything that just is not serving your greater good, basically. And so that's mostly what I'm getting from Miguel at this time. Unless you have a separate question, then you can ask.
We have the time. Yeah, Miguel, I do feel the finances increasing, getting better. I actually am feeling a lot about recognition, something about recognition coming in, like you being more recognized. Just generally, it kind of feels too. I don't know if this is just with massage. I feel like in general, like there's a recognition that's going on, or this could be like, it could be really to do with massage, but it does feel like there's just something deeper that's happening here. And I feel like, um, if you, let's say, for instance, decided that you were going to start TikTok again or something like that, I feel like you would have, you're in a place of confidence where there would be more recognition towards you because your confidence has been boosted. But I do absolutely agree with maybe sometimes you can be your own worst enemy when it comes to some of the things, and that can be really difficult, right? Like, don't get in your own way, sort of let it flow. I really do feel that there needs to be more being present in your life, more, and rather than, okay, if I do this, like it's almost as though you're looking at steps ahead rather than being present and kind of going, okay, so here's where I am, this is the next step towards that. But the thing is, sometimes looking ahead is great, but when you look ahead, you tend to look at the negative things as opposed to the positive things, and that's where it can be a little bit, or that's where a lot of, the blockages happen, right? So if you decide to look ahead, look at it as a, look at it, I don't know if this is the right word. Look at it as a construct as opposed to an emotion. Okay? So let's just say you go, okay, I'm getting more massages. Okay, great. So then stop. You know, accept it, go, okay, this is great, this is wonderful. But then you go, but what if I get more? Now I have to do this, and then all of a sudden this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and that's where a lot of the problem is coming in, is because as you're going forward with some of these things, you're placing some negativity, it feels like, in your mind or your subconscious. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's the energy that's kind of coming through, rather than just going, okay, I have to get a massage table. I'm just using this as a, I know you already have one, but I'm just using this as a, as a, an example. Okay, I need to get a massage table. Okay, leave it there. I need to get new sheets. Okay, cool. Leave it there. Don't think about how they're going to how you're going to get them, how you're going to afford them, where you're going to buy them. That's not important, because that's where you get tangled, literally. You get tangled in the nonsense of negativity. Whereas just go, okay, yeah, I got to do this. Boom, done. I got to get massage oil. Okay, cool, done. Like, these are the things that you just need to keep in your mind, rather than going into this whole rabbit hole of, oh yeah, okay, but if I was to buy this, maybe this would be and then it becomes something else. You're laughing.
I laugh because that's exactly what he does.
Okay. Yeah. And it's staying in the present is going to be the thing. It doesn't mean we can't plan ahead. It just means that we are planning ahead on a different level. So that is what's going to help. I'm actually going to read these cards. So the first one that came through, I hope you guys is fragmentation. So you can kind of see. So remember that they're called the dark mirror. So it is sort of like a reflection, like all of the cards sort of have this reflection sort of look to them, I guess. But I'm going to actually read that. And you know what? Here's the thing. Yes, they call you out, but they're actually in a positive way. Like they look horrible. Or they don't look horrible. They're beautiful cards. I don't mean it that way, but you get kind of nervous about them and then you find out, oh, okay, they're not actually as bad as they're portraying. So I have to take my glasses off for this one. Sorry. I can't read with my glasses. It says, when rage is projected inward, destruction joins confusion and we break. So what seems to be a cold iron coat rack is topped by a broken stone statue of a fairy. So they're describing the card. Visible only from the chest up. Stone roses are at her breasts. A crack cuts her face and her body. A jewel is on her forehead, and silvery insect wings stand at her back. A crescent golden slice of the moon is like a halo behind her head. It is possible to glimpse, suspended in the void, also the hands of the stone fairy. So basically what it's talking about is, it says here, losing a sense of self is a crescendo of noise, and of pain, and a prelude to nothingness. So basically what it's saying is stop going dark. Like it really talks about stop bringing the rage inward, like there's no need for the rage, I guess. But if I were to cut off my legs, would I still be me? That's what it asks. Okay. If I were to carve out my heart, would I still be me? If my flesh would turn to stone, if my lungs were emptied of air, if my dream to fly were to be forced in chains and hanged I'm telling you, they get dark on this one. Like an expired balloon, would I still be me? I fought and lost, broken beyond recognition, not by the hollow sight of bystanders who can pity, but who can't understand. I can't even recognize myself. Through the sobs, through the tears, and when silence finally comes, through the empty motions and the conventional smiles. Who did this to me? I did. Maybe, maybe not. What is broken can be mended, not so that it returns whole, but at least until it tells his name anew, my name, and who will do that to me? I will. So basically, what it's saying here is, what it's talking about is, we have to sometimes look at where we fragmented ourselves and realize, like, what negativity did we put out there that we're now receiving, and because of that, do we have to sit in a place of fragmentation because of it? No, we don't. We're still me. Look at a moment as not as, this is my journey, this is the end, this is whatever it is. And I feel like sometimes, I do feel like this relates to you, Miguel, simply because sometimes things from your past, whatever, might come up, and that's where you got to go, okay, this happened in the past, but it doesn't need to be me now. This is not who I am. And that's where I feel like I got that present. Stay present, because the present isn't about the past, the present isn't about the future, the present is right about right now. And just because we might have been fragmented at one point doesn't mean that we are now. We can take those fragments and then form a whole. It's still you. You're still you. Just because something might have happened in the past, you're still you. You're still who you are, and you're still, beautiful on the inside. You still got all of the qualities of who it is that you were. And then this talks about parasite, the second one. It's called parasite. And see, I tell you, they're not nice. Like, they're not nice cards, but they get to the point of what it is. So you can kind of see that person there. And what this talks about is when the only answer to lack of self-efficiency is to cling to another one. Yeah, another one. And it says, what can't survive alone will seek company, but instead of growing together, they will wither together. So this isn't about you and Amy, okay? This is about our own thoughts again, or sometimes I'll get to that in a second. But it does talk about relationships are not a zero-sum game. Of course, using each other is part of the game, but it's quite different when used take the shape of supporting rather than manipulating or exploiting. In the long run, a good relationship is win-win, where the more I give, the more I get, and the other way around. Still, it's not always like this, is it? Not just in bad relationship. In the short run, bad is bound to happen, even in the house of true love. We cling, we bite, we hunger for safety and freedom and support. And on the other side, we get tangled, bitten, demanded on, well, it happens, it happened, and it will happen again. It is part of the game. But if it happens too often, it creates a toxic environment. It doesn't matter if we are the victim or the perpetrator, as poison is shared equally. One gets the pain, another gets the advantage. But the toxic part is they both get. Fully a parasite, a leech kills itself as much as it kills the host. It sacrifices the journey to the destination and then the destination to its own failures. The problem is not living as sheeps, but the true problem is living as a sheep for 100 years. So basically, what it's saying here is if there is an issue that is growing inside of you, recognize that issue and don't become a parasite. And it doesn't mean that you are. Remember that these are just, ambiguous messages, right? But basically what it's saying is to recognize when we are presenting an energy towards somebody else, and is this energy becoming toxic between the two people? And that's something that we might want to recognize, right? And whether this is between you and Amy, between you and a child, between you and whatever it is, it doesn't need to be toxic. It doesn't need to be. What we need to do is sometimes solve the issue within ourselves and not project it out onto others. And this is where we start really forming those healthy relationships, or we even form that relationship with ourselves. So that's basically the messages that came through. So I hope that helps. You're kind of giving me that look, Mamie. I see it. I see you. Anything to say to that?
Nope. I was, if he had any other questions, I'd go ahead and answer it for him, but it seems like that wrapped it up a lot for him. And it's funny because you imitated certain things that he does do, and I was trying to hold myself back from laughing. But yeah, he tends to hang on to past trauma or past situations. Because this happened to me, he's bringing it into the present. Oh, so I have to do this, or I have to,
Right.
protect myself because in the past, this and that. But it's like, that was long, long ago. So that's when
Yeah,
that
and
letting go takes place.
right. And I mean, we can all sometimes definitely be guilty of this for sure, right? Because you know, we have to it's not a natural thing to just go, okay, that's cool. We all tend to hang on to things to some degree, but at the same time it's the recognition of, okay, this is past energy. I really do not need this. Yes, it is giving me fear. Yes, it's rising up inside of me. Yes, I feel X, Y, and Z, but I don't need to. And I definitely don't need to pass it on to a partner. I don't need to pass it on to other people around me, or whatever it is, right? Because that's where a lot of even more trauma comes in, because then we feel guilty. Here's the thing, is innately we're not meant to harm each other. And so when we tend to do that, whether we have a good place of shoving it down and not dealing with it, but at some point this builds, whether it's building in our energy. This is why we have cranky old men that nobody talks to for years. You know what I mean? Or or that cranky old woman, you know what I mean? Where where everyone's like, don't they have friends? No, because their energy through the years has created a negativity where nobody wants to be around. And they still have that projection of that negative energy. And so that can be, very challenging, uh, right? As you go through. And that's the thing that you don't want to hang on to. It doesn't matter really what happened. Although, to be honest, I mean, it basically it gives us the opportunity to not have to deal with it again. It gives us the opportunity to look at things. If a partner cheated on you, let's just say, okay, take a look at that and go, all right, well, these were the signs that I did see. If I see them again, I'm going to deal with them at that time, in the next relationship or whatever it is, right? Because, people are very, whether we like it or not, people are patterns. And it doesn't matter who you are, you got a pattern. Oh, I disappeared again. What the hell is going on?
And whenever that takes place, you freeze. It's
That
weird.
is so weird. I do not know what the hell is. It's like the whole computer and everything goes black, but yet my computer is like pretty much brand new, so I know it's not coming from that. That's just weird. Okay. Anyway, oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to pull some tarot for you, Miguel, because I think I was kind of like that's those are pretty, those were they're great messages, right? Like they're not negative, but they are harsh. Like they're not harsh. Um they're harder messages. So actually, interesting enough, you're actually getting like the wheel, the Knight of Coins, Knight of Pentacles. You're getting the Three of Cups, which really talks about celebration. When I take a look at this, and look at this, I love this, faith. So basically what I feel the cards are telling you here is things are turning around. Remember that when the Wheel of Fortune shows up, we have to remember that this is really about a change, things changing, but we also have to be in that place of accepting the change in a positive way. Usually when the wheel shows up, it's usually positive, but we have to be in that place of being able to accept it, taking a look at it, seeing the next step forward. The Knight of Coins is saying you don't need to rush on anything. It's slow and steady. It's a slow and steady positive energy, but have faith. And also the Three of Cups is about celebration, positivity, being in, having something to celebrate. So things are getting better, especially financially for you. But I do feel what your guides want you to really embrace is the staying in the present. So I hope that helped. Did he take off? I'm wondering if he took off. He's probably like, bitch.
No. Where did he? No. I see people in.
That's too funny.
Oh, you know why? He probably thought you finished.
Oh no, that's okay. Don't
Oh
worry.
no, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching and have an amazing night. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week. And yeah, have a great one. It was kind of an intense one today to some degree, but that's okay. All right. We will see you next week, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.